So Justin Trudeau and Donald Trump had dinner tonight, and it caught the internet flat-footed. Media didn't know what was going to happen, and we're just kind of getting the details now late into the evening. So they met for about 3 hours and talked about a bunch of really important topics. The first one was trade, probably relating back to the tariffs that Donald Trump has been threatening to hit us with about a 25% that would crush both of these economies. This is something that would pull everything into a halt as majority of Canada's trade comes to and from the United States. This is something that Donald Trump had to throw out there. He's famous for the big ask. And I think this is what the whole point of this was to do what happened tonight. Bring Justin Trudeau to the table so that they could discuss how things had to change. What he wants to change brings us to the second point, which is border security and fentanyl. Right now, between the United States and Canada, there's a ton of stuff coming from Canada into the United States that Donald Trump wants to stop. It was revealed that 484 known terrorists came from Canada into the United States, that drugs are flowing from Canada into the United States, and Donald Trump wants that to stop, which is a fair ask. However, there's also things that Canada can then push back on. Majority of guns used in crime in Canada are smuggled up from the United States into Canada. Canada's porous border with the United States has been an issue that both countries need to address. They then moved on to talk about security, defense. They talked about NATO and the state of Ukraine. I'm really interested to find out what happened here. This whole situation just continues to balloon out of control. We have the United States approving the long-range missiles into from Ukraine into Russia, which then Russia then retaliated by launching a missile from their country into Ukraine that could carry nukes. It didn't, but it was definitely a show of force. Then you have the UK approving, or sorry, not approving. You have Boris Johnson, the former Prime Minister of the UK, saying that they need to send UK troops to Ukraine. All of this is spinning around, creating an atmosphere that could easily tip towards a global conflict. And the fact that Donald Trump is having this conversation with Trudeau, hopefully they're looking to end this before anything spirals out of control. I'm based in Alberta. I love Alberta. This next topic really hits home. Actually, the next two really do, is energy and pipelines. We had the Keystone XL pipeline ready to go, and work was being done to progress that pipeline, which would have pumped a ton of cash into Alberta and by association into Canada. That got axed the moment Biden entered the White House. It was done. So now that Trump's coming back, there's talks about returning to this pipeline or future pipeline endeavors. And finally, the last thing they wanted to talk about was the G7, which is actually going to take place in my home province of Alberta in the Kananaskis, which is beautiful. And I don't know much more about that, but the world is coming to see my beautiful backyard, and they're more than welcome. A lot was discussed and a lot to take away. I can only hope that it was a fruitful conversation and that Justin Trudeau didn't put his foot in his mouth, but it's Justin Trudeau.